Welcome. This is Wandering North America. My name is Jeff, and I'm glad you're here. The Gay Parita Sinclair Station and Garage is owned by George and Barbara. The station exterior is kept pretty much faithful to the period in which it was born, 1926. This is an actual recreation, as the original station burned down in 1955. But the outside is covered in memorabilia, as is the inside. And the attitude here is one of welcome, one of friendship, and just George is glad to meet you. So George, where did the name Gay Parita come from?
As you said earlier, the place has its origins in 1926. The original owners were Fred and Gay Mason, of course. And when they opened their business, they decided that they would call it Gay Parita Sinclair Services, the complete name of the business. Gay comes from, of course, Gay Mason's name. The Parita this is actually Parita, Missouri. This section, this compound, if you will, has always been known as Parita, and so they included that in their name. And of course, Gary liked it when he put things back together, and Parita it remains.
Okay, so Gary picked up the place in 2003.
Sometime before that, I believe, he purchased it. And at the time, he was a truck driver. So while he's driving, he's collecting stuff. And ultimately, as you said, in 2003, he started putting all this back together.
Right. And you built the replica. He built the replica station.
He built the new gas station, and he also built the store and the pavilion.
Wow. And Gary is Barbara's father.
That's correct.
Unfortunately, Gary and Lena have passed on. So, do you remember any particular stories about when the station, or did you hear any particular stories about when the station was in operation as a station, like pre-1955?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've heard some stories I can't repeat, frankly. I do have one. I met a gentleman. His name is Bill Brasher, and he lives in Springfield. Mm-hmm. He's probably 93 or 94 years old. And I met him, like I said, I think it was 3 years ago. He came out and told me that when he was a boy during the Second World War, he used to deliver block ice to this place.
Huh.
And I just thought it was really refreshing to have some firsthand information about this spot. So for me, that was one of the more interesting stories about Old Parita.
Yeah. Now you've got something like half a dozen vehicles on site.
Yep.
The trucks.
Yeah, I love trucks.
Is there any, besides being period correct, are there any particular stories related to the trucks and this station or the police cars?
We have a 28 International pickup that was owned by Gary, and after Mr. Turner passed, Miss Lena sold it to a mutual friend, Larry McReynolds of Springfield. And he's a machinist, so he's a really talented guy. He took that old 28 rust bucket and he got it running. And wow, here we go. Sadly, again, we lost Larry in 2017. And his family just wasn't as enthused about this particular vehicle as we were. So through discussion and about giving things proper homes and that, we were able to get the truck. I'm a little choked up, I'm sorry.
No, that's all right.
We were able to get the truck back here, so this one actually came back home.
So, and that's the truck right out front
here.
here.
That's the truck sitting right over here, yeah.
Wow.
And we call that one Larry.
I saw that.
Because Larry got it running And Larry he's the man. You folks just don't know how influential some of these people are out here.
Yeah.
We love and miss Larry very much, and we thank his family so kindly for letting us being able to get the truck back.
Now, you have a lot of memorabilia here.
Yes, sir.
From all over the place. And it seems that some people just come in and give you stuff.
It does happen from time to time. I have a 1959 AMF Roadmaster bicycle that was given to me by my friend Mark, who lives less than a half a mile away.
Huh.
And I think that goes along with kind of what I said about the truck. A lot of things have a proper home, and he felt like it belonged here.
Right.
And in the while that Barbara and I have been here, it just appears that many things, old things, just gravitate towards us in this place, which I think is wonderful.
What do you think about, what is it about this place that draws people in?
It would have to be, there's a certain kind of magic here. A lot of our visitors aren't from the States, they're from overseas. So for them to be even in the country is kind of a wonderful gift for them. And when they're traveling down the road, they stop here at Parita. And when they get out of their vehicles and they come through that gate, I see it every day. When I look in their eyes, it's like little children opening a Christmas present on Christmas morning. What makes them so excited about that, I could not say, but it touches me every day with the emotions that I get from folks that arrive.
Have some of your visitors told you stories about situations, things that they got reminded of when they got here?
Oh, almost all the time. My dad had this, my dad had that, they drove this, they drove that. I got a good friend of mine, Josh, is out of Republic, and as we were talking earlier, folks bring me things. Well, he brought me it was just a little piece of metal from a Kansas City Star newspaper stand. And it looked cool, it was old, so I stuck it up on the wall. And what happened was, same day I put it up, this guy comes out. He's like in his 80s. And he said, I worked for the Kansas City Star for 40 years.
Wow.
And then he went on to relate, where he worked and what he did. And the very next day, a lady came, and she was in her 70s. And she had the very same story. I worked for this paper for 40 years and da-da-da. It's just amazing to me what small things have some sort of connection with people. And that's what they do. I think that's what happens here is whatever items are here, that there's always something here that will spark that fire of remembrance.
Yeah. And what's your favorite part of being here?
Oh, it's the people. Absolutely. Hands down. Don't get me wrong, I'm a guy, I love old trucks, old cars, anything like that. Of course, I like things mechanical. I love all the signs and everything, but those are just things. I just have a really good time enjoying conversations with folks because this place is it creates emotions in people, and to me that's real, and that's why I think I get so much joy out of folks getting joy of things here. It touches me, and I think that's the gift.
Can you say one thing that you've learned from the visitors you've met here?
One thing that I've learned. Route 66 is an 8-flatter. You would have 8 flat tires going from Chicago, Illinois to Santa Monica, California. And that's just one of many tidbits that I've heard.
Interesting. That must have been in the 20s and 30s.
Absolutely.
Wow. 8 flats. you really had to want to drive.
Oh, absolutely. Of course, the cars they rode a lot rougher.
And there was no air conditioning, like in here.
No AC, absolutely. Welcome to the heat, people.
Okay. If you could make one recommendation for people that are going to do 66, what would you suggest to them?
That's really easy. Hands down, anytime you go to any place, be sure and talk to someone. That person is going to give you that connection to Route 66 and maybe make you smile. But B, there are local folks that are around all of these stops on Route 66, and they are well acquainted with the next most interesting person, the next most interesting place. Stay off of the phones. Take the time, stop and talk to somebody, and you'll get it.
Okay, George, I'm at Gay Parita. I'm heading east. What's the next most interesting place?
Within 3 miles, you have Hulltown, Missouri. That's home of Whitehall Mercantile. Dr. Jerry used to go there. I think there's still a thing on the front porch. You can stop and poke your head through and get a photo if you like. That's the closest thing. The next most interesting thing, in my opinion, is the ghost town of Plano, Missouri. If I'm correct, it's about 10 or 12 miles to the east. There's a 2-story building there with a big tree growing through it that's just fantastic looking. The stories are better than the building. That building, they sold, it was a shoe factory. They sold tractors out of there. But the coolest thing I ever heard is an old man came out here and said when he was a boy, up on the 2nd floor of that building every Saturday night, they'd have bare knuckle prize fights. And the house across the street was a DX gas station. It's now somebody's home. And that was Plano, Missouri.
Recognized that George and Barbara are 3rd-generation stewards of this land. Like his father-in-law before him, George has become an ambassador for the Route 66 experience. If you just drive and stop and look and drive on, or just look into your cell phone, you will not have the Route 66 experience that you could have. So stop, talk to the proprietors, turn your drive into a journey. Truly have the Route 66 experience. While you're at it, support these small business people. They're having a rough time in this environment just like everybody else is. So stop, buy a t-shirt, get yourself a bumper sticker. Say thank you in a concrete fashion. But most importantly, stop and talk. Get to know the people. Say thank you to them. I hope you've liked this video. If you have, hit the like button. Hit the subscribe. It's down there on your right. Also, click that bell so you get notified when a new video gets loaded. I appreciate your time. Thanks for stopping by.